Hey, how's it going, and welcome back to Consuming Cinema, a show about making and pairing food and drinks from popular movies and TV shows. This week, Evil dines tonight, because to celebrate the release of Halloween Ends, we're making and pairing Zesty Popcorn with Voodoo Ranger from Halloween Kills. If you haven't seen Halloween Kills, it's a 2021 horror flick directed by David Gordon Green, and a direct sequel to 2018's Halloween, which is a sequel to John Carpenter's original 1977 Halloween, and one that ignores all of the other Halloween sequels that came in between them, with Halloween Kills following the same violent night of its predecessor. At a local bar, a group of townspeople led by Tommy Doyle, whom Laurie Strode babysat in the original, honor the victims of Michael Myers as they snack on something called Zesty Popcorn, while a cameo from adolescent Bob Odenkirk appears on TV. One of these patrons, Marcus, grabs himself and his wife Vanessa a drink, ordering
2 of the Voodoo skeleton thing,
which is actually a real beer called Voodoo Ranger. But before we get to our Voodoo Ranger, we're first gonna make our Zesty Popcorn.
Popcorn? Why? Popcorn!
Because the clowns, that's why!
Wait, whoa, no, hold on, we already did that movie. You can watch that video here. This is a different Halloween episode, and this time we're making Zesty Popcorn. You're probably wondering, what the heck even is Zesty Popcorn? Well, I have no idea, but I was determined to create it. So the first thing we need to make Zesty Popcorn is zest. And what is zest? Well, zest is essentially the outer part of a citrus fruit. In our case, we have some lemons here. To acquire our zest, we'll use a microplane or a zester like this one, and simply grate the zest from each lemon onto a parchment-lined baking sheet, being careful not to over-zest down to the white part called the pith, because it can taste overly bitter. Once our lemons are all zested, we'll now need to dry our zest. There's 2 basic ways to do this. The first method is to bake it in an oven at its lowest setting, which for me was 170 degrees Fahrenheit. It's best to put the zest in the oven as it preheats, leaving it in there for about a half hour or so till the lemon zest dries out completely. The other method is simply by leaving the lemon zest out to air dry. This zest has been sitting out on the counter for a little over a day now, and this air dried zest is much more aromatic and lemony, whereas the oven baked method has more of that roasted quality. For that reason, I want to use a mix of both for our Zesty Popcorn. So once our oven dried zest is finished, we are now going to combine it with our air dried zest, which I accidentally did with one light off, but that's okay because it's Halloween.
Everyone's entitled to one good scare.
With the lights back on, we'll now make the rest of our zesty seasoning, the next ingredient being Flavacol, an artificial butter flavoring that I've mentioned is the secret to movie theater quality popcorn at home, after which we're going to add Tajín. If you're not familiar with Tajín, it's a Mexican seasoning made from dehydrated chilies and limes. I'm using the low sodium variety because of the high salt content of the Flavacol. Tajín can be used in many ways, be it to season fruit or in the famous beer cocktail called a michelada. In our case, we're gonna add an equal amount of Tajín as we did Flavacol. Last but not least, we're gonna add some freshly cracked black pepper. Now simply mix this all together, and once our zesty seasoning is perfect, it's now time to make some popcorn, starting in a medium pot, to which we'll add a 1/4 cup of vegetable oil, as well as 1 single popcorn kernel, which will act as a timer to let us know when our oil is heated. So we'll turn the stove to medium-high heat, and while we wait for that kernel to pop, we're gonna get a 1/2 cup of popcorn ready to go, because once that kernel does pop, it's time to add that popcorn to our pot, where we'll see it begin to pop. And as that popcorn pops, you want to shake the pot side to side occasionally to allow any unpopped kernels to fall into the oil. Then once that popping slows down, we want to take the popcorn off the heat. Then we'll grab our zesty seasoning and add it to our popcorn in small increments at a time, covering and shaking the pot in between so that all the popcorn gets a nice even coating. Then once our popcorn is all seasoned, it's now time to plate our popcorn, which we'll do in one of these adorable little popcorn containers. So we'll add a few scoops of zesty popcorn into the bag, adding some additional zesty seasoning on top as well. Now that our zesty popcorn is ready to go, it's time to talk about Voodoo Ranger, which, if you don't know, is a series of mostly IPAs or India Pale Ales created by Colorado-based brewery New Belgium Brewing Company in 2017 as a forward-thinking spin-off of their original Ranger IPA. Voodoo Rangers come in in many varieties, all featuring the titular cartoon skeleton character Voodoo Ranger. There is the original Voodoo Ranger, which was released alongside its higher ABV counterpart, the Voodoo Imperial IPA. The third Voodoo to come along was the Juicy Haze, which is considered a hazy IPA, also known as a New England IPA, meaning that it's an unfiltered beer where the hops are added later in the brewing process, resulting in its signature cloudy appearance, fruitier, less bitter taste, and softer mouthfeel.
Please don't say mouthfeel.
Speaking of hazy IPAs, the fourth Voodoo mainstay is the Juice Force, which is also my personal favorite of all the Voodoo Rangers. From there are a number of rotating and seasonal Voodoo SKUs, such as the 1985 IPA, the Liquid Paradise IPA, or the Experimental IPA. But it's not all IPAs either, because there's also the Atomic Pumpkin Spicy Pumpkin Ale, which comes just in time for the fall season. And right now, Voodoo Ranger has a promotion going on you can find in the link below, where you can choose the next Voodoo to be in their rotation. Will it be the Voodoo Vice IPA, or will it be their Danger Beach IPA? Whichever way you choose to Voodoo, every beer brings something unique to the table, and all of them are incredibly delicious. But for the purposes of this video, we're gonna stick to the original Voodoo Ranger IPA for our taste test. But you tell me in the comments below, what's your go-to Voodoo? So we'll grab our Voodoo Ranger, and into a chilled pint glass, we'll pour our beer in, starting with the glass at a 45-degree angle. Then when it's about 3/4 full, we'll turn the glass upright to give the beer a nice frothy head. And at long last, our Zesty Popcorn with Voodoo Ranger is finally done. Now there's nothing left to do but to taste it. So we'll start with a bite of our Zesty Popcorn. That is certainly zesty. Both types of lemon zest bring something different to the party, with the air-dried lemon zest adding more freshness, while the oven-dried zest adds a toasty quality. You get buttery salt from the flavacol, along with some extra salinity and zest from the tahini, which also delivers that slight kick. Overall, this is a really fun and addictive improvement on an already fantastic popcorn recipe that I will surely be making again in the future. But how does our Zesty Popcorn pair with Voodoo Ranger? Well, oh man, that is refreshing. Right off the bat, what makes Voodoo Ranger such an excellent pairing with Zesty Popcorn are their complementing flavors. Voodoo Ranger is what's considered a West Coast IPA, meaning that it is hoppy and bitter with a citrus-forward flavor profile, which pairs perfectly with the Zesty Popcorn, with the zest adding a similar citrusy element and slight rindy bitterness. Plus, is there really anything better that pairs with a salty, savory snack like this than an ice-cold beer?
A mother effing beer. Oops, sorry.
So it goes without saying that this pairing right here is most definitely worthy of 2 big thumbs up. If you like the channel, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Please leave any video suggestions in the comments below. Full recipes will be included in a link in the video description. Follow us on all forms of social media at Consuming Cinema, including my favorite form of social media, Untapped, where I rate and review all kinds of beer, including every Voodoo you see here. And don't forget to join us next week when we make a pairing from Bram Stoker's Dracula. I wish you all a very happy and safe Halloween, and as always, thank you for watching.